In today's session, we're going to be discussing supercurricular. Now, most of us have come across the term extracurricular. Extracurricular activities are those that you would be probably doing from a very young age, from nursery. So things like arts, music, sports, all those things that you would do as an extra school club or things that you would do in school, but to enrich your skill sets. Now, those extracurricular activities are very crucial for personal development. You need to be able to develop skills such as leadership, communication, teamwork, all those things you can gain through activities that we do as extracurricular in school. But it's really important as you reach towards the end of your high school that you also concentrate on supercurricular activities. In terms of the definition of extracurricular and supercurricular, extracurricular broadly refers to activities done outside the classroom. Supercurricular refers to exploring your subject interest outside of your academic curriculum, and it really complements your academic curriculum because it defines your passion in your course or your career that you intend to do at least for the next 4 to 5 years of your course or your career after you finish your high school. The best way to see supercurricular is to view it as an umbrella overarching 3 phases of your career development. The first phase would be discovering your passion. The second phase is building the evidence for your passion. And the third phase is to look at the strategy for a strong university application or a strong outcome from having discovered your passion. So what are supercurricular activities for? It's really important to understand the skill sets that you will gain from taking part in supercurricular activities. And that's crucial if you're entering university or even the world of work. You need to be an independent learner. So that's the first skill set that you will gain from taking part in supercurricular activities. The second skill set that you will gain would be discovering the passion for your subject. The third skill set would be discovering subject-specific learning skills. And this is where the extended learning that you will gain from taking part in supercurricular allows you to really go into the depth of your subject or course. The next skill set will be to become critical and analytical thinkers. So it's not just what you learn theoretically in your academic subject, but the application of that theory is really important, and that allows you to be a critical and analytical thinker. The fourth skill set is to get yourself stretched academically. So things that you will do as an extended material, whether you take part in Olympiads or you take part in challenges and competitions and projects, those are all extension of your academic material. And finally, the other skill set that you will gain is to develop your intellectual curiosity. And that goes above and beyond the confines of your curriculum. Now that we have talked about discovering passion and how supercurricular can help you to discover your passion, the third stage is having the right strategy, making sure that you have a strong university application. So how does supercurricular activities help in that? Well, first of all, it helps you to choose a degree course. There's so many degrees, so many options, too many universities. So how do you select the right course, the right university? All that really is down to having the right supercurricular strategy. The second is to confirm your choice, to really affirm your career choice and your course choice. Again, supercurricular helps you to determine that. The third will be to help you with your personal statement, and that's where the evidence for your passion is really crucial. The fourth will be to prepare for your interview, and again, at interview you could be tested on anything and everything under the sun, but it's again important to be able to sell yourself, but also to be able to demonstrate all the evidence that you have built so far for your passion. The next building block is to prepare you for your admission test, and this is where supercurricular activities help you to be independent learners, but also to be able to give you those thinking skills that you need to really embrace those challenging admission tests. There are admission tests for almost all courses at any of these top universities. We've seen admission tests for medicine, you have admission tests for engineering, for law, for economics, modern arts. There's admission tests on almost all courses. Admission test assesses a number of skills: problem solving, verbal reasoning, essay writing, advanced mathematics, and advanced science. And there are a number of admission tests now that are asked for as a prerequisite for entry into a number of courses at top universities worldwide. Therefore, it's really important to spend a lot of time on admission tests. And again, supercurricular activities help you to build that knowledge base. Finally, supercurricular activities also help to develop your skills for university study. If you're choosing to apply to top universities for competitive courses, it is, after all, a lifestyle choice. And therefore, you have to have the right skills to prepare yourself for that journey. Now, let's break down what are these supercurricular activities. What can you do as part of supercurricular activities? Well, the first stage will be, can we look at things that you can do beyond your syllabus? For example, clubs and societies. Check what is available at your school. And if there's a club and society that you're really interested in, but you don't have it in your school, well, start one, lead one, be a leader. Leadership skills, again, as part of your extracurricular activity, that is really crucial. So this is where you will have transferable skills from extracurricular to supercurricular and vice versa. So take part in clubs and societies. And if there's not one in your school right now, then start one, lead one. The next thing you could do is attend public lectures. There are many public lectures offered by universities, and since the pandemic, there's been a lot of things that's online, which is fantastic, which means that you could be in any part of the world and still take part in these public lectures. Now, these lectures are fantastic because it gives you the breadth and the depth of a topic that you probably would not have discovered at school. And also, it's great to be able to listen from an expert who has specialized in a particular field. And this is where you can have access to greater resources and materials. And that brings me to the next point, online resources. There are so many resources out there online, and there's so much to read. Now, of course, don't get overwhelmed. Very important to also stay focused, but the opportunity is there for you to read. And another thing, when you do read these online resources, it's very important that you read credible materials as well. There are also lots of open online courses, and these are fantastic courses, and some of them are free. So for example, Coursera, there are lots and lots of courses that you can take part in. If you have an interest in computer science and you've not done any computer programming before, well, this is the time for you to do so. Take a class in Python or Java. If you have an interest in medicine, there are courses in science and medicine through Open University. It's very important, though, you complete the modules and you gain the credits from these courses. The other thing that you could do is visit museums. Now, museums are a great place of a learning source, not only on the materials that are on display, but also learning the history around it. So for example, if you have an interest in medicine and you've been to a museum on medical sciences, it's really interesting to see how penicillin was made and how antibiotics came about. The next thing you could do, read, wider reading, books, articles, magazines, journals. Keep a folder of all the articles that you have read, or do a podcast if that's easier for you to remember. Treat your reading, your wider reading, with the same care that you would give to your academic subjects. Normally, when you revise, you'll be making notes and you'll be learning through your notes again. And you will have to do the same when it comes to wider reading, because that's only then you'll remember the context of what you've read and you've understood the context, and you'll be able to explain that in an interview or in your personal statement. You can also watch and listen to YouTube webinars, seminars, documentaries. Again, do remember to take notes and remember to refer to them as and when you need them, but treat it as you would treat your academic subject. Once you feel that you've done enough reading and enough of the clubs and societies at school, it's time to explore activities outside school. Many universities worldwide offer lots and lots of summer school programs, and again, it's a great way to actually put things into application. University seminars and workshops. University open days is another way to really explore what is it like to be at university. You get to see the department in action, and that's another way to reaffirm your career and your course choice. What else can you do to apply that knowledge that you have gained so far? Well, firstly, you could look at work experience to gain some internship at industry level. So if you have an interest in engineering, then getting an internship at an engineering firm or law firm or hospitals allow you to put what you've learned so far into practice. And more importantly, you are able to observe others who have gone through that same pathway that you are choosing to go on to. You can combine your work experience and internship activities with voluntary work. Work experience is quite a passive experience, whereas voluntary work is quite an active experience. But you have to have both, because one, you are learning through observation, and the other one you're putting into action. Another way to apply your knowledge is through competitions. For example, when you take part in an essay writing competition, you're utilizing the essay writing skills that you have gained through supercurricular activities. When you take part in an engineering project, for example, you're putting into practice the knowledge that you've gained not just through your A-level or IB curriculum or your academic curriculum, but also you'll be able to extend your learning through your wider reading and put all that knowledge into practice when you do an engineering project. There are many competitions that you can take part in. The great thing about these competitions are that you can also use them to sell yourself. Especially when you win a prize. The more you can explain your process, the more exciting it becomes and inspiring it becomes for university admissions reading your profile, reading your personal statement, or talking to you at an interview. It is also important to understand that both extracurricular and supercurricular activities lead to personal development. So what will you acquire through this process? First of all, it will be enabling you to have a positive growth mindset, as opposed to having a fixed mindset. It also allows you to have fantastic study skills, which is really important as you embrace university studies. We've all heard about the 21st century skills, such as critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, negotiation, reflection. Again, all these skills will be gained through all the supercurricular activities that you do, provided you do it properly and strategically. Often I meet students who are unsure of what course they want to study, what career they want to embrace, and more importantly, they don't know where to start their supercurricular journey. So how do we deal with this? Well, first of all, it's very useful to break down into career groups. There are 3 main career groups you could break down into. One is life sciences, second, physical sciences and mathematics, third, commerce and humanities. And of course, there are many subsets within these 3 career groups. You could start by exploring a broader course range or career ranges, and then really eliminate the ones that you feel doesn't suit you, or the one that doesn't match your academic ability or requirements or interest. Throughout this process, it's important to keep evaluating, are you on the right course? Are you doing the right supercurricular activities? Is it relevant to your course? Do you still enjoy it? What skills are you learning? And if you're not enjoying it, that means it's not right for you. If you're having to force yourself to go on to work experience and you're being very tired at the end of the day and you don't think you've gained anything from it, that means that's not the right work experience for you. And therefore, this process is beautiful because even if it's a negative outcome, you've actually gained so much out of it because you've discovered that this is not right for you. Remember, you cannot connect dots moving forward. You can only connect the dots having reflected on what you've done so far. And therefore, the more you do, the more you're going to gain out of this process. You won't lose anything out of it at all. And that is the beauty of supercurricular activities. If you're, of course, unsure of this process, then speak to your teacher, speak to your career counselor. But do start building, do start looking at the building blocks. But most importantly, enjoy the process. The more you enjoy the process, the more likely you will gain the outcomes you're looking for.